podcast joint with Ciara.
Yo, what the deal? Banana Peel. This is so real. This is me. T-Money in the building. We rocking right now. The T-Money podcast joint. We in the building with my girl Ciara Ross.
Hey.
And we got the special guest today, man. My man, producer extraordinaire, super duper producer, my man, my homie, Stromy Mean Macaroni. Baby Paul in the house. What's up, homie?
What's going on, man? I go by the name Baby Paul, a.k.a. BP, a.k.a. BpZy. Take your pick of one of the same.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for having me.
No doubt. Respect that,
Yes,
man.
sir.
You know what I mean?
Yes,
You
sir.
push them buttons. That's how you do
Blessings.
you. You know what I mean? Pause.
No doubt.
Well, don't forget the new name, Mr. Baby Paul.
Oh,
okay?
I like
'Cause,
that,
you
Mr.
know.
Mr. comes first now. So,
That's right.
you know, when I
Absolutely.
get introduced, I'm going to make sure I make that clear. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Thank you
What's going
for
on with
that.
you, girl?
Listen, before we get into all the great contributes that you've done to music-wise and hip-hop, let's run this back a little bit.
Yes, sir. Why not?
You used to work in the medical field,
Yes,
sir.
I did. Yes, I did.
Now, how the heck
That's a
did
good
you
question.
get...
Well, actually, my aunt was the manager of telecommunications at Mount Sinai Hospital in New York. You know what I'm saying? Shout
you
to
quit?
my auntie. Yeah, I quit around 1995 when my career started. Shout to the Beat Miners. That's my alma mater. That's my college. That's where I started. Evil D, Mr. Walt. You know what I'm saying? Brooklyn representation.
Peace out to Evil D, Mr. Walt.
Yes, sir.
Peace out to Evil D, Mr. Walt. Beat Miners, full
sir.
effect, filling
You know
them.
what I mean?
Pause. But listen, so no more bedpans for you, right? That's what, you wasn't trying to hear that?
I'm gonna tell you something. I was doing a lot working at this hospital. I was transporting people who passed away to the morgue. I was transporting, unfortunately, people who lost babies.
Oh,
You know what
wow.
I'm saying? It was a lot. You know what
Mentally,
I'm saying?
yeah, it was taking a toll on you.
Transporting like blood samples to like phlebotomy labs. I did a lot, but I put in the work, saved my money, invested in myself, bought equipment, was going heavy with digging in the crates, back then, you know what I'm saying, like building my archives of vinyl.
So talk to me real
put
quick.
it in work.
So you were, how old were you? How
I
old
was
were you?
about like
Mr.?
24.
You're 24?
25.
And you herald from what borough? I know
Born
you're
in
from
Harlem, raised in Brooklyn,
Okay.
made in Queens. That's
Okay,
how I
this
call
is
it.
this
Love
is
it.
interesting.
Love
So
it.
now I know I used to work as my father had a custodial company. I used
Right.
to work when I was 11. I was cleaning bathrooms, like I was
Wow.
working. My father put me to work. He wasn't trying to hear that, you know.
Right.
As he should.
So, but my thing is, what made? Cause at some point, I knew. I said, "Well, okay, I want to be a DJ." That's how I started. So, what made you want to be a music producer? Like, I mean, you
Well-
don't wake up in the morning and say, "Oh, I want to produce."
Honestly, from that time when I was working at the hospital, aspiring to get in music, I was also interning at a recording studio. Shout out to Power Play Studios, Long Island
Power
City.
play, yeah, no doubt.
Some of the legends in hip hop was recording albums at that time. Karis One was recording.
Hold on, let me get your mic right, because we gotta
Yeah.
make sure
Yeah.
everybody hear you correct.
Okay, cool.
So get it together now.
Got
Be
it.
straight. Okay,
Got it. Karis One was recording the Blueprint album, the original
Wow.
Blueprint
Wow.
album.
Cool
you know what
G
I'm saying?
Rap.
Cool G Rap was doing Wanted Dead or Alive. Eric B. and Rakim was recording Let the Rhythm Hit Him. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
So, I was like a fly on the wall being a part of those sessions, just learning the ropes,
Right.
networking, building my experience, knowing, studio etiquette, shout to Eric B. You know what I'm saying? Shout to Large Professor who was around at that time, you know what I'm saying?
Large Pro.
That was my inspiration to really get into music, you know what I mean? And then after the Main Source album came out, I was like, I gotta do this for real. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right.
I gotta shout out Dr. Butcher too. Legendary DJ from Queens who I used to run around with back then in the studios, you know what I mean? He was also a DJ with Cool G Rap and Polo, you know what I'm saying? On
Right.
tours and stuff like that.
So listen, so tell us. I know you. Listen, you produced several people, several major artists that contributed mightily to this culture.
Absolutely.
Right? And we'll get into that in a minute. But just give me a story. Tell me. So everybody has a story. Tell me one of your favorite studio stories.
Man,
That,
I got a couple. But I
We're
will
here
say
for it.
I will say like specifically a classic record that a lot of people know from that time frame in '96, LaFleur LaFly Scopes, rest in peace, Sean Price.
Oh, Sean
You know
Price,
what I'm
no
saying?
question.
Helter Skelter OGC. That record actually was a B-side. It was the B-side to another song called Blah, produced by another producer at the time. And it was one of those things where they did the record, they did the marketing behind it, did all the work, you know what I mean? And it stuck, but it didn't stick strong enough at the time. Duck Down was signed with Priority Records, you know what I'm saying? So they said, we got to put something else out and see what picks up. Lo and behold, shout to like Angie Martinez, Moni Love, who was at the radio at Hot 97. Shout to Evil D, who was on the radio at Hot 97 at the time. they all was gunning and supporting that record, and helped it bubble as the B-side.
Right.
Enough that it got enough buzz and they picked it up. You know what I'm saying? And put it out as the follow-up single. It shot the video with the little 5 Heartbeats concept.
Right.
You remember that, right?
Of course. Right.
I made a cameo. I ain't gonna brag about that cameo because it wasn't a cool cameo.
That's okay. It was cool.
It's all
when you
good.
did it.
It's
It
all
was cool
good.
to you when
Shout
you
out
did
to
it.
Drew High.
But you was in there. Don't worry about
I was
that.
in there. You know what I
You was
mean?
in there.
But for me, it's just like coming up in the game for the '90s. It was just an honor and a pleasure to be a part of that history. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
So
I understand.
salute
The
to
'90s was real. Like every,
yeah.
there was
yeah.
music. There was music coming out every week.
Oh yeah.
In the '90s,
Oh,
different
yeah.
artists coming out every week.
Oh yeah.
Different
like,
vibes. So,
all that music from
so-
Wu-Tang, Nas, all that.
Not
yeah.
only were you as it relates to your history, not only were you just a music producer, you actually worked in the business, right? You
Absolutely.
You worked for Koch, right?
Absolutely. I did
Right.
A&R consulting for Koch, like fast forward into the 2000s, you know what I'm
Right.
saying? Shout out to Bob Perry. A lot of people hate Bob Perry, but Bob Perry was my guy at
Right.
that time, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like he was behind a lot of the independent hip hop at that time, you know, Cormega,
Of course.
MOP, AZ, shout out to
Right.
AZ, you know what I'm saying? So he gave me the opportunity to kind of A&R consult. So I was like helping to broker a couple deals over there, like when BMF did a situation with Blue Da Vinci, you know,
Right.
I was a part of that with
Right.
Alan Grunblatt.
Yeah, I was gonna get into that with you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Tell me a
you know
little
what I'm
about that. Like you,
It was weird. Like Alan was in the office one time and he was just like, "Tell me what you think." You know what I'm saying? Of these guys. I said, "Nah, they got some joints. They got a movement." You know, that's
Yeah.
basically what I said. They got a movement. I ain't get too deep into the music.
Yeah.
I was like, they got a movement, and I said that's enough to pay attention to. So you know, shout out to Blue Da Vinci. When he came home, they gave him an opportunity to put out a project on there.
Right.
You know what I'm
Wow.
saying? And then I also helped broker a situation for the artist from D12, you know, BpZy from D12.
Yeah, Big Bizarre.
You know what I'm
Okay.
saying?
Of
When he
course.
did his solo project back then, you know,
Right.
after doing the D12 album with Eminem. So, yeah, I mean, I did my little A&R thing on the side, you know, help consult a lot of AZ's projects over there when he went independent after being on Motown.
see, a lot of people don't even know like you were actually part of all these projects. You know what I mean?
Projects.
Yeah.
And that's why we formulate. Listen, focus on me real quick. So this is why we do
Please.
these podcasts,
Absolutely.
so people can actually
Get familiar.
get familiar with who people like this is. You know what I'm saying? Because this guy has actually contributed to a lot of the music that you've listened to, and
Yes, sir.
And truth be told, we salute you. That's why you're here today. You understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely,
So-
Round of applause.
absolutely. You mentioned about being a part of or developing awareness records, right? What has been the most influential record that you believe you created? Because I know you created
Wow.
something regarding wanting to spread AIDS awareness, and you
Like-
just mentioned another record.
Well, there's a few records that I'm really proud of. I'm proud of the Essence record with AZ and Nas, which is a collaboration. No, AZ and Nas don't collaborate a lot. You know what I mean? So when they do, it's a big deal. Of course, on the Stillmatic album, which I worked on, you know, with Nas, the song "The Flyest" was produced by LES, a song
That's
right
my
after my
song.
That was an AZ Nas record. So when I got to work with them on Motown, with the song "The Essence," I actually got a Grammy nomination. So I'm really proud of that record. You know,
As you should.
to
You got a
my knowledge,
you got a nomination.
yeah, to my
So
knowledge,
you-
that was their
you-
first Grammy
Yeah.
nomination.
And
Don't
you got a
just slide that
nomination,
under.
and
Yeah.
you didn't win.
Nah,
So I need to
think
talk to
Outkast won
somebody.
that year.
I need to talk. No, I'm not trying to hear that. son. You should have won that, kid. I ain't trying to hear that,
I
kid.
think Outkast won that year.
Next
Salute to
time,
Outkast.
let us know. We make some phone calls. We gotta roll up on somebody.
Yeah, I definitely want to be in a space to be able to offer some more material that gets not only recognized but wins. You know,
So
what I mean? That's the plan.
at what age did your Grammy nomination come in?
That year was 2002, so I was definitely in my late 30s at that point.
Okay,
You know what
okay.
I'm
So
saying?
you had
I'm
put
a grown ass man.
you had
so-
put in
Okay,
right,
put
right.
some respect on it.
So you
Yeah.
had put in a lot of work. At
Absolutely,
this
at
point, you know
that
what I mean?
point, yeah, absolutely,
Okay,
absolutely.
well that's what's up, man. You know, let me tell you something. So listen, we're gonna fast forward unless Ciara has a question real quick. I'm really because I'm intrigued as to what XMG is.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
And where you're going with this whole thing.
I'm
you know
gonna
what I mean?
definitely break that all down. But you had a question
Yes,
though.
I do actually have a question
Okay.
that's very important. I want to make sure I'm gonna read it off the top.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure I get it correctly. So it's: do you think the enhancement or advancement of today's technology is helping or hindering the ability
Wow, that's a good question. Finish.
and the producer's creativity?
Like Kanye, I'm gonna let you finish.
So what I
But-
mean by the examples is, so back in the day, you know, they used instruments and they did it together. But now today you can be across the world and send it in, and then you have auto tune. So
Right.
those are the two examples.
Like I would say the advantage of technology, for example, like what you just mentioned, is sometimes you get to work with people from long distances. You know, I have relationships with like composers, other aspiring young music producers who I mentor at times who may have ideas, but a lot of people got to realize it's one thing to be a beat maker and it's another thing to be a producer. Being a producer is not just making the beat, but being able to see the whole song through, developing the record from start to finish, working with engineers, bringing in songwriters for hooks, you know, structuring a song, coaching the vocals of the artist that's performing. You know what I mean? So some of these aspiring beat makers may have ideas, but they need to finish it. So that's where I come in some cases. In other cases, I may want to have somebody bring in some string production, play live bass, play some chord arrangements, chord progressions. So, you know, coming from the days of the beat miners to now, I've learned how to be able to collaborate with people and use the power of technology to my advantage. Where in some cases they may be in Atlanta, they may be in LA. You know what I mean? And we file share, we FaceTime, we do all of the things that need to get done to finish a record. But going back to the era I started in the 90s, I gotta say, we come from 2-inch reel.
Get it out the
Saying
mud.
analog
Very true.
recording. You know,
Very true, brother.
Shout out to my man Milk D that's in the building.
That's
come
right.
from that era. You know what I'm saying? Where the sound was warmer, and even as a producer, to get paid, keyword, to get paid, you had to get paid up front before you went in the studio to lay a record down. You know what I'm saying? We're in a time now where you got people having beats, you know, just flying around on the internet, on YouTube, and people just going in and recording records before even the artist knows about it. You know what I'm saying?
But to your point, I can contribute a little to this because
Yeah.
I understand the difference between a producer and a beat maker.
Absolutely.
You know, because I worked as a I thought I was a producer for many years. You know, myself and Dre actually worked. We did remixes. We did a lot of stuff with, you know, I'm talking early '90s, Young MC. You know, Run DMC. You know, the stuff that we did for Original Concept. I'm thinking.
Wait. I gotta pause you on that one sentence.
What's that?
Who produced Knowledge Me? That's a classic, that Original Concept record.
Me, Dre, and the brother.
There we
by
go.
Eric
Wow.
So you produced the record,
Of
bro.
course I
And it's a
produced it.
classic,
It's a
bro.
classic, bro.
You gotta get your flowers for that. Give it
So
up for my man right there.
we had two producers in the building.
Yeah.
Shout out.
It was sampled. It's one of the most sampled records of all time. Master Ace took it just recently and did it. So we did our thing. But my point. This interview is about you, my brother. Listen to me.
Yes, sir.
My point was when I worked as a producer, you know, I'm thinking I'm hot. I'm just hot. I'm hot shit.
Right.
I cursed you, so hold on. Hot shit, right? So what my thing is, I linked up. A very good friend of mine is Stevie J, the bad boy producer. You know, and his family very close. You know, shout out to
dope.
Stevie, Mike J, all them.
Yeah.
So I linked up with them as you know, because they wanted my DJ skills. I used to DJ parties for them and stuff like that.
Oh, wow.
So when one night in the studio, and this is not to take away from your interview, but it's real quick.
Nah, go ahead. This is what this is about, man.
It's just to talk about what you just made mention to about beat makers and producers. So I'm in the studio. It's like 3 a.m, right? You know, Stevie and all of us were just sitting in the studio, right? Nothing was happening. Just in a room. I think people were eating or something. So he wakes the engineer up because the engineer is dozing off in the chair.
Right. Nothing's going on.
There's nothing. I mean, I'm talking about there's literally zero. Now keep that in mind. We're starting from scratch.
Right.
The MPC is there. The keyboards is there. Everything is there, right? Stevie just gets on the MP3, right? Bong, 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 20 minutes. He got
That sound about right.
He got the sickest beat ever.
Right.
Tells the engineer to track it. He puts the artist in there. Song done 2 hours.
Wow.
That sounds about
And
right.
I said, I'm not a producer.
That was your realization.
right there. Say I'm not a producer. I'm
What
a
you
beat
said.
maker. I'm a DJ and a beat maker. I am
because
not.
you just
that.
said it.
And it was an
He
R&B
made the beat,
song. It was
and he coached the vocals, right?
He coached it, of course he did.
Yeah, he
he
produced the
layered them.
vocals. Yeah.
All that. I said, oh, okay, I understand.
and
This
he's
is.
collaborating with the engineer, with the arrangements.
And then when he
all
had
that.
all the music down, he's making more tracks because he's playing
Instruments.
guitar.
Yeah, that makes sense.
The underline.
He's
That
he's
sound like
super tough.
CBJ.
He's a super tough
Yeah.
dude. So I
A lot
was
of
like,
people
wow.
don't give him the flowers for the stuff he did on Biggie's albums,
Yeah,
man.
yes.
Like,
So just keep this in mind. Like as a producer, I understand a lot of the things that you and
It's
and
work.
it's mad respect that you went through and
appreciate
a
it.
lot of respect. So,
Absolutely. So let's get into XMG.
Yes, please.
What is this about?
XMG, we call that Zellulus Music Group. Shout out to my partner in LA, Antonio Velaz. He comes from a background of doing a lot of, like media, and he's worked with like Maya and a list of other people. You know what I'm saying? He also was on Love and Hip Hop one of the seasons. I ain't gonna get into all that, but
okay.
But that's my guy, and we collaborated with his son. His name is Little Zell. He's an artist originally from Jersey, but representing California. And long story short, he had a song around 2020, just before the pandemic hit, like tail end of 2019, early 2020.
Right.
He had a song called "Let Me Know." The song took off virally on the internet, just off TikTok and circulating on the internet.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And it was just crazy because he was telling me about his son, and I was watching him, and my partner, DJ Mr. Effects on Untouchables, he was like, yo, you need to watch this kid. He's dope. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, yeah, I'm going to keep an eye on him. And the record just started taking off on the internet to the point where it charted on Billboard. But the reason why is because it was a different record for that time. He was doing like street singing that a lot of young artists do, but he was doing it over an EDM beat, which is like a dance record. So it started charting on the dance charts in early 2020. So literally the label started coming to us.
Right.
We didn't have to go after them. You know what I'm saying? And
That's how
we
you
had
won it.
like,
That's how you won it.
Yeah,
You
we
make
had
it
like
happen like
Def
that.
Jam, Universal, Columbia. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my dude that works with Clue for years, many years, Duro, who was EPA and over at Universal. He was one of the people I was talking to at the time.
Okay.
And then of course 300, and then we liked the offer that 300 had, which was a 7-figure deal. I ain't gonna get into the specifics.
Kevin Lyles.
Yes, sir. Shout out to Kevin Lyles. You know what I mean? And we liked the offer that they gave us out of all the deals. You know what I'm saying? And we ended up getting them signed literally like May 2020, like right at the heart of the pandemic.
Okay.
Wow.
Got him signed for a 7-figure deal. He's still there. You know
Oh,
what I'm
okay,
Nice,
that's what's
nice.
up.
Single did well. He's put out records in collaboration with Tiger, Cola Ray. Like the interesting thing is, a lot of the stuff he's done is on the internet, and he's buzzing more on the alternative and crossover market more than the urban.
Right.
So that's why some of the people in urban music may not have known who he was.
Right.
But those who know. You know what I'm saying? So, like, keep an eye out for Little Zell. If you haven't heard of him, look him up. You know what I mean? He's
That's
talented
right. Lil
young
Zell in
kid.
the building. Look him
And
up.
that's spelled XXEL. So initially,
Yeah,
the
no
XMG
question.
was inspired by his name.
Right.
Because the
Nice.
goal was to build a brand in affiliation with him, kind of like how Jay did Rockefeller,
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So, me and Antonio came up with XMG, and with that company, we operate not only his business as an artist, Little Zell, but, we also do a lot of marketing consulting for independent artists. We have a distribution partnership under 300. They have a distribution platform called Sparta Distribution.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So under Sparta, we've put out a few records. Shout out to an independent artist out of Michigan named Dre Banks. I produced a record with him and Trina, like the late 2020 into 21, called Boyfriend Girlfriend. Did almost 2 million streams. You know what I'm saying? We put out a whole other single that I forgot the name of the single off the top of my head, but it did almost 4
Because
million
your catalog
streams.
is so long. It's so enormous.
Hey, I mean, I've been blessed to be around and still be relevant and still have opportunities like this to be with y'all.
Let me tell you something.
Speak.
Hold on. Wait
You
a
know
minute.
what I mean?
Salute the baby Paul.
Appreciate it.
Mr. Baby Paul.
Because what he does
like
is
that.
produce songs.
Yes.
To recognize, man, hire this brother. You know what I mean? Because that's
Yeah.
what he does. He makes hits, man. You're a hit maker. All right?
Appreciate it.
Definitely.
And so with XMG, that's the goal. We just want to build up new artists in the market. That doesn't necessarily have to be a young artist or a legacy artist, you know what I mean? Because I'm doing everything. I'm
Right,
collaborating, as you know, with Moni Love,
Right.
female rap legend, executive producer, her new project.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But I'm doing that through a separate company that's distributed by Sony Orchard at the time. But just building the brand. So XMG is the movement, man.
No question.
Where can your followers, your new fans, the new people that is interested, where can they find XMG?
Well, they could type in on Instagram XMGHQ. We're about to actually put a whole bunch of content on Instagram and launch a new website with all the work we've done as well as new stuff. And then you can follow my bro Antonio Velaz, not Antonio Velaz, because his page got hacked like a year ago.
Oh,
so he
man.
purposely did that because he was
Okay.
pissed off at the internet. So he made an
As most
Instagram
of we
page
are.
called Not Antonio Velaz. You know what I'm saying? You can follow him on Instagram. Of course, me, Baby Paul, BpZy. The BpZy is the Ebonics version of Baby Paul, reinvented by the legend E40. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I borrowed that. Honestly, I borrowed the BpZy before Kanye called himself Yeezy, but that's a whole nother
Okay,
conversation.
that's a whole conversation. I
Shout out
feel
to
that.
Consequence, man.
I feel that.
But I'm just blessed to be here, man.
And salute to you, man.
Yeah,
But
for
listen,
sure.
real quick, before we end this, I know you're not just producing now, you're back DJing, correct?
Oh yeah,
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
You and my
Absolutely.
man, Mr. FX, right, in the
Shout out
house?
to DJ Mr. Effects.
Respected my
Queens
man.
Legend.
Yeah, listen, my man, Mr. FX was DJing the joint that I was doing.
Yes.
And me with DJs, I'm real critical. So
Right.
he dropped some crazy. I don't know what song it was. It was something crazy. I said, "Yo, you real with yours, right, bro?
Oh, Effects
you
get busy.
real with yours, right?
Effects get busy.
Listen,
And
get
he's
busy.
my inspiration. He's the reason why I got back into DJing. Because
Right.
starting out with the Beat Miners, shout out to Evil D and Mr. Walt. They were the known DJs out of the camp. You know what I
Right.
mean, I was a part of that, and people knew me as a producer. They didn't know the DJ side. I mean, I've toured with them, went to Japan, all of that with them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So.
Wow.
Once I just wore the producer hat, I left the DJ shit behind.
Right.
And Effects kept saying, "Yo, bro, you're a DJ. I seen you DJ. Come on, man. Get some gear. Let's go."
Right.
So, I got to salute Effects for that. He pushed me to start doing that. You know what I mean? And we started to do more curated events. We did the listening party for up-and-coming artists that you was at.
Right.
Shout out to Milk D in the building. And we're actually doing a lot of live streaming on this app called Bigo. I don't know if you ever heard of Bigo, but it's another app similar to TikTok.
Okay.
And you can stream online and you don't get flagged.
Wow.
Oh, really?
Music
That's
don't
dope.
get flagged.
That's dope.
Like Instagram. You know
Well,
what
it
I'm
might
saying?
get flagged now since you told the world. So I'm just saying.
But I'm gonna just put it out there because we be on there heavy. You know what I'm saying? We do mixtape Wednesdays. I do a little segment called BpZy's Corner where I'm playing like exclusive that I'm producing and
Love it.
And name of your clip is called what? The Untouchables.
Untouchables
Right,
DJs.
right,
You know
right.
what I'm saying? And then we do Sunday Soul Corner on Sunday mornings to start your week off where we just play the latest and the greatest R&B, soul, fusion, jazz, all that. You know what I mean? We're trying to curate a venue in the New York area to kind of like really bring that
Yeah,
to the people.
we're gonna talk about that.
Yeah.
We're already
Yeah.
having this conversation.
Yeah.
You've been blessed to be around so many different people. Who has been most influential in your life?
Man, as far as artists in the game or just business?
However way you want to see fit. I know you just mentioned the Mr. DJ, of course. So,
Definitely
that's one
DJ Mr.
aspect.
Effects. You know what I'm saying? My album out of the Beat Miners is where I started. I was blessed to work with people like Nas and AZ at a point in their career that, like really everyone was paying attention to what they're doing. Shout out to AZ because I actually worked on the last AZ album, Do or Die 2. You know what I'm saying? It came out like close to a year ago. You know what I'm saying? It was released under the same distribution, Sparta, because,
question.
we come from the same circle, so that wasn't hard. You know what I mean? So I produced a song called Keep It Real, and then I produced another song called Never Enough featuring Rick Ross. So check that out.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my man Rocktimus Prime, who co-produced the Rick Ross record with me. Dope, young, incoming producer. You know what I mean? So,
Okay.
yeah, I'm here. And look out for that new Money Love, man. You
That's
know what I
right.
mean?
And he's going to answer that question. So go back to Instagram, check us out at the T-Money Podcast joint to get that exclusive answer.
That's
to
right, yo.
Ciara,
My man,
shout out
Baby
to
Paul in the
T-Money.
house, yo.
Yeah.
This here's the T Money Podcast joint. Love y'all, man.
G-Rap.
Peace out. We out.
Thank you.
T-Money Podcast Joint.